direct from the web, it's Billy Masters Live. And now, please welcome your host, Billy Masters.
That's me. Oh, my God. Here we are, another show. This is impossible for me to even comprehend. This is show number 30. You know, we're not counting the first 3 test shows. Show number 30, which means we've been doing this 15 weeks. Oh, hello. My name is Billy Masters. Welcome to Billy Masters Live. Today is, oh God, where is it? Today is Thursday, July 19th, 2020. And we are still here 15 weeks later and counting, apparently. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to talk to our guests. Sometimes it feels like longer than 15 weeks, and in some ways it kind of has flown by. So who knows? Anyway, all right. First thing, I have to share something with you that a friend of mine in Australia sent me earlier today. There's a piece of paper. I had to print it out. And I printed it in really big font because Billy's old. Billy can't see. All right. So this is a friend of mine in Australia who just, was checking in, as we all do. We write each other. We see how each other is doing. And this person said, not a lot happening in Australia. We got to a state of very few cases in Melbourne, where I live, but we just had a major outbreak, 150 new cases a day. That's a major outbreak for Australia. So now we are all going back into lockdown. Okay. Now, this is what I would like to address. Florida's up to what? 10,000 a day or something? I mean, like crazy numbers. And they're all still going to the beach and in wet t-shirt contests and drunk and whatever. Meanwhile, Melbourne, Australia, 150 cases a day. They all go in the house and lock their doors. Do you see what I'm saying? That we should all move to Melbourne. That's what I'm saying. Now, I mean, what I'm saying is that, when you take care of things, 150 is a lot of cases. I'm in a little suburb outside of Boston. We'd kill for 150 cases. I mean, not literally kill, but, there's a nursing home down the street from me, where my parents live. They're not in the nursing home. The nursing home is down the street from where my parents' house is. Anyway, it made the news like a month ago that they had, like, in a day in this one nursing home, like 50 cases, because the workers who work there, because, they're all taking care of things inside, but you don't know what people are doing outside. Here's the point. The point is, take care of yourself. Don't go to a nursing home and move to Australia. I got 3 points. That's it. Anecdote of the day. Okay, this is not the anecdote I planned, but this is really kind of funny. In last week's call, in the current week's column, I wrote it last week, but you guys are seeing it this week. I had talked about colorblind casting and how, only a trans can play a trans part, and only a gay can play a gay part, and only a black can play a black part, and whatever. And so I had made a joke about, canceling my all-white production of A Raisin in the Sun. Obviously, I'm not appearing in A Raisin in the Sun, but I did say that I have been compared quite often to Miss Esther Roll. And a fan wrote me and said, why didn't you show the picture of you and Esther Roll? And I said to him, I never met Esther Roll. I don't know Esther Roll. And then he sent me this picture. Now that's me and Esther Roll. She doesn't look too happy. I look a little bit too happy. But that is me and Esther Roll. I have absolutely no recollection of meeting Esther Roll in my life. And then, and again, not to go with the theme, but at the same time, someone else recently sent me a picture of me dancing with Emmanuel Lewis. Don't know that. Don't know where that came from. I mean, I remember having Lil Peter Dinklage sit on my lap. That I remember. Emmanuel Lewis, I don't remember. Anyway. All right, this is moving on to the show. Oh, okay. Announcements. I'm sorry, announcements. First off, our social media assistant is working out, but we still need help. So if you want to help out, email me, billy@billymasters.com. Next Tuesday, we have dueling daytime divas, and they are more than daytime divas. We have Judith Chapman and Carolyn Hennessy joining us. Both ladies who have quite accomplished on stage, on screen, on film, perhaps. We will have to look that up. But I'm very excited because I love them both, and I think they'll be a really interesting combination. So that's Tuesday. Thursday, I might be in Provincetown, and I might be doing a Billy Masters live from Provincetown. I don't know. We'll see. I might, this show really is cutting into my social life. Okay. My first guest, when you say gay porn, the first name that comes to mind is Chi LaRue, which is really interesting because I would think as a little boy, I don't believe she probably grew up thinking I'm going to become the face of gay porn. And yet she did. And we have known each other, at least 20 years. I've been in LA 20 years. And one of the first people I met was Chi. And one of my favorite people because Chi LaRue can do anything. She's a director. She is a DJ. She is an entrepreneur. She can act. She can do so many. She can write. She can do so many things. I call her she because, that's how I think of her. But she really is a boy. But I am thrilled to have my good friend in the face of gay porn. Chi LaRue is here. Hello, darling.
Hi, Billy. How are you?
I'm good. We were talking backstage and I've gotten so used to seeing you because when we're doing the shows, if you're watching on Facebook, you can chat. And by the way, people watching, send in your questions. This is going to be a very interactive show. But Chi comments on everything that happens on this show, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And thanks for being here.
Well, we've been threatening to do this for a little while, so it's here. We've made good on the threat.
Are you still doing yours? You were doing things.
You know what? I have a little show I do on. I haven't been doing it lately because some things. I was doing it, and then all awful stuff started happening. The riots in Minnesota, the awful, the murder of George Floyd and all the awful stuff that's been happening. And, and just the coronavirus itself and shutting down the porn industry. I've not been able to travel and do drag.
Sure.
And, not to mention the murder hornets.
Yes. Have the murder hornets made it to you?
No. But they're very interesting. I would love to see one up in person,
and the locust. There's the locust and bubonic plague.
I know, but locusts have happened forever. And I know that when the locusts come in Kentucky anyway, they scoop them up and they cook them and they eat them.
They do?
Yeah.
Are they good? Have you ever had one?
I've never had one and I want to really bad. My friend Bradley Picklesheimer talks about it. And bars will have specials on, they'll have all you can eat locusts.
All you can eat locusts.
Like shrimp.
All right.
Shrimp,
if anyone can corroborate that, please text us. Oh, and also on YouTube, we can see your text there too. Facebook, YouTube.
Yes.
So how are you doing through all this?
I have my ups and downs. I just celebrated 15 months sober, clean and sober. So I'm
which congratulations.
Okay in that, thank you. I'm doing okay in that department.
How has staying sober this time been different? Because you've gone through this several times, and I would think if there was ever a time that somebody might be tempted, it was with all this going on.
Oh, I've been tempted.
Oh, okay.
I've been tempted. There's been many a time, and actually a couple of times when I've been actually on my way to the liquor store. But all
really?
All I have to do is, Billy, all you really have to do is play the tape through. Play the tape from the beginning of the last time you got drunk and And how was it? Will the movie end differently, or will it end exactly the same? It will
And does it always the same?
It always ends the same.
Yeah.
It ends in tragedy, in hospitals, in broken something, in gashed something, black and blue something, tragedy of some kind, some foolish mistake that you wouldn't normally do if you were sober. It's just, you know, I've been asked to leave a lot of the local establishments around here to not come back because I've gotten so drunk to the point of where I've, you know, fallen asleep at the bar. But it's also because of my gastric bypass surgery.
And how many years ago was that?
God, knock on wood. It's been 15.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And it's 89% that you gain it all back.
That's
plus more.
Yeah.
And I have not. I've actually stayed pretty much the same. I go down to like, if I'll go down, like recently I went down to like 179, which is way too small for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're tall. How tall are you?
6'1".
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been good for drag, for putting on clothes and stuff and cinching the waist and all that. But
oh, when you look, and again, I want to just point, let me show people pictures. This is us years ago. So this is going to be not flattering for either of us.
Oh my God.
So there's one.
Oh, actually, we look cute.
Yeah, that one's okay. Then there's this one. That one's okay too.
We both look cute there too.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
And let's see. Then there's this one.
Okay, well, so you look good. I look like I'm drunk.
You might. Well, I don't know. You might be. And here we are on stage now. I'm trying to remember this.
That's the Grabby Awards.
Is that Grabbies? Is that what that is? Yeah.
Oh, girl, I am big there. I remember going, and Honey West and I went to Lane Bryant and bought those tops.
Oh, really?
So we could match. She got green, I got pink. So it's like,
oh, so that's how you know.
Girl, and I'm not wearing a wig and I'm wearing a fedora. Not a good look. Oh
no. But one of my favorite pictures of us is this.
Oh,
which I think that's a great picture.
We and both look like we're trying to pick up the same guy.
Well, in the very next picture on the roll, apparently that was the night I walked Bobby Clark like a dog.
Oh.
So I think that's South Beach. I think you were doing a show in South Beach.
Was that the thing with RuPaul? Was that the big thing at the Versace?
Yes, I think it was. I think it might be.
Yeah.
Look, we've been a lot of places.
Yes, we have.
So can I just ask, because I don't really know, how did you get into? Well, let's start porn. Did porn come first or drag come first?
Drag.
Okay, how did drag start?
Well, I'm back in Minnesota, living in Minnesota. I've been living here now for 5 years. I started in Minnesota. I'm from Minnesota. So I was living in Minneapolis. A bunch of us guys, we, the club First Avenue where Purple Rain was filmed, mm-hmm. We entered this contest called the Great Pretenders. And there was 5 of us. And we didn't shave our faces. We put on messy lipstick and, we kept our beards and our mustaches and had ratty wigs and Goodwill clothes. And we got up and we did It's Raining Men and we won the contest.
Wow.
And then we continued to perform. It was funny because they loved us so much. And First Avenue was mainly a straight clientele. So with Prince and Sheila E. and Vanity and all of them were there all the time. And it's so funny because of my hag drag, I landed a role in Purple Rain. I was in Purple Rain. So,
I don't think I knew that. What were you? Were you in one of the clubs?
I was in the crowd scenes, but I had a really good part in front of Apollonia 6 when they sang Sex Shooter. Another drag queen and I were in the front of sitting in front of Apollonia at a table. And I had a shot and a close-up and a line and everything, which got cut out because, I was told that the reason that things were cut out was because when Prince saw the first cut of the movie, that Morris was in it too much. And that he was, obviously Morris was absolutely, was such a star in that movie.
Right, of course.
That Prince didn't want him to be in it so much. So they had to go in and recut it and cut a lot of frivolous things out to put more shots of him. Because he was in the club that day with us in the background, you know, so they got a lot of shots of him that I guess they used instead of the shots of me.
Did you get to know him at all?
Yes.
And what was he like? What do we not know?
Well, he was very fun,
Mhm.
funny, and quiet.
Mhm.
I've got great stories about Prince. I've got so many. One night, he came to First Avenue, and I was there with my roommate Carolyn, and he was obsessed with Carolyn because she was like 6 foot. She was like a 6'3" model,
Mhm.
all legs, like just this lanky, like a praying mantis, but gorgeous.
Mhm.
And he was obsessed with her because she was so tall. And he came.
He was a little bit of a thing. What was he like?
Little,
5'5", 5'4"?
Tiny, yes.
Yeah.
And he came to First Avenue dressed one night in a blue suit with white polka dots all over it.
Mhm.
He had sprayed his hair bright orange.
Wow.
And he wore a Northwest Airlines tie. So he was walking around and he was alone. He didn't have his security. He didn't have his entourage. He didn't have any of that stuff with him, any of the trappings that he had usually with him. And he walked around and was just being very cordial with everybody. And we went to Rudolph's Barbecue after, which was the big place to go after the club. It was like everybody from the club would go there. And it was, you know, so he came into Rudolph's Barbecue alone and asked if he could sit with us. And I'm literally like, I get chills right now thinking about it. I was flipping out because I was like, I wanted to be his friend so bad, but there was only in passing. I've been to private birthday parties of his. I've been to surprise concerts of his. I used to leave my job. I used to have my friends call me and say, your bathroom is flooding, so I could get out of work, so I could get to the concert at First Avenue, like the surprise concert. But he sat down with us and he was sitting there and he loosened his tie, and it was like, we were all like, and he goes, you know, I went to First Avenue tonight to see how many people would tell me that I look good dressed like this. And there were people that were telling me that I look good, and I thought that they were absolutely insane. I just wanted to see what people would blow smoke up my ass. He didn't actually say that, but, you know, and then he invited us to his birthday party in the warehouse. He was obsessed with Marilyn Monroe. Oh. So the theme of the party was Marilyn Monroe. He just was really, he was upset. He said to my friend Carolyn, he said, how tall are you? Or he said, can I ask you a personal question? Can I ask you a personal question? And she was like, what? How tall am I? And he was like, yeah, how tall are you? And she told him, and he was just like, it was like you could just see in his eyes. And she actually got asked by Jimmy Jam, who was in the Time, to start a girl group called the Amazons. And she was like, I'm not starting any girl group that will never make it, because the girls that were coming out of that camp never really made it, except for Vanity with Nasty Girl. Was really the only woman collaboration that he did that actually made it on the charts. Right. So there's my Prince story.
I had no idea. See, this is what, you know, it's so interesting because I've known you for 2 decades. I had no idea about this.
Yeah, I don't usually talk about that unless prompted. I talked about it in my book. You know, I've been really, really lucky, Billy, to this persona and this celebrity, this, you know, which I use that term lightly, has
but you have it.
Has lended me is that I've got to meet and become friends with a lot of the people that I've worshipped my life and been heroes. And I know that hero worship's not a good thing, but you know, there are people that molded me in my life, like Divine and Boy George. And, you know, those people, they were people that I, you know, worshipped, and they made me feel that it was okay to be this weird, different, freaky person that liked to wear women's clothes, that liked to perform, that liked to be wild, you know. So it was, you know, and there were porn stars and porn people that were my heroes also. So, you know, I mean, I lived for Jack Wrangler, you know, I used to live for Seika, you know, all these people that I just loved. And then I got to meet them.
Right. And work with a lot of them.
Yeah. And worked with a lot of them. Yes.
And I'm curious, when you just said that, you were like nerdy and the misfit kind of feeling. Was that one of the reasons you were drawn to drag, to just kind of come out of your shell?
Absolutely, because I'm a 350-pound boy that never got attention from the gay community, which is, I still believe that today in this world of discrimination and anti-discrimination, the only thing that you can still discriminate against is fat.
Absolutely.
Which I really
fat
find
has no color, no race. Fat is fat.
And when you think you're hurting someone's feelings, well, you are when you say you fat bitch or you fat ugly whore or whatever. It's like fat. Like I see these videos of women fighting and they like right away say you fat bitch. It's like, and I hate fat shaming. I hate skinny shaming. I hate anything like that.
It's funny when you went through some skinny shaming, because I remember after you got the surgery, I remember us talking together one night and you said, do you know how many people have come up to me tonight saying I look too thin? And are you okay?
Yeah. And you were better. You were funnier and better fat.
Absolutely. I remember it vividly.
Okay. Wow. Okay, well, I did have a heart attack. I have type 2 diabetes.
Yeah. You were lucky to be alive, frankly.
Yeah. And I'm lucky to be alive after getting sober, too.
And didn't the doctor tell you if you didn't lose the weight that you would be dead?
Well, I had my heart attack. And then he was like, you've got to do something here because that was in your Widowmaker and you were 99% blocked and I don't know what you're doing. Well, okay, Billy, cheeseburgers at 11 o'clock at night, cocaine, tons of cocaine on the weekends, lots of alcohol, lots of eating bad stuff, never moving, never doing nothing strenuous.
Right.
I guess walking in heels and standing behind a DJ booth, I guess is kind of strenuous, but it's
sure.
like it's not cardio. So, I was a ticking time bomb.
And even when you stopped drinking, I remember some of the struggles you had between staying sober with alcohol versus the drug culture, which was still around us constantly. And I remember one night you and I were in Florida and you said, girl, it's been 6 months clean and sober. Want some Coke? And I'm like, what just happened?
Well, you know what? It was like, if I was offering you Coke, then I was drinking because I never did Coke without drinking.
You might have been. I don't know.
And you know what? It's like, and I was drinking this last, I'm 15 months sober. Hallelujah. Praise the goddess. Just turned it on the 4th of July. And I haven't been really doing any drug. I have not been doing any Coke. So it's like, the drinking was just drinking out of self-deprecation and depression and all that. But
are you not somebody who can the limitations and sort of moderation in anything? Is it across the board with you?
Shopping.
Yeah.
Okay. Shopping. But when you don't have any money, you can't shop.
That's true.
When you eating. When you have a gastric bypass body, you can't eat what you want to eat. I used to be able to eat 2 medium Domino's pizzas.
Yeah. Wow.
Now I can only eat like a piece, and then I have got to wait a while. Let's see what else.
Sex?
Starbucks. This.
Oh, Starbucks.
You know what? Sex was never my thing because I could never really get it unless I was in drag and I was drunk because I was so insecure. Remember the Yukon Mining Company parking lot?
Yes, I do vividly. We're old.
It's no longer there. It's an apartment building now.
It is.
The ghosts of drag past flowing up through the building.
I had, who was it on? Chad Michaels was on a few weeks ago, and I showed him a picture, and he said to me, I remember that night. That was Jasmine's dragging you out at the factory. And do you remember? And he said, do you remember what happened with Shishi? And I said, I remember vividly.
Jasmine's
I don't know.
Dragging you out at the factory.
Jasmine did a benefit.
Big Jasmine,
blonde Jasmine.
Yeah.
And all of us were there. I think you performed, but I'm not positive. Sure. You might have hosted. Happened? But anyway, you had gotten on a table, a folding table, And you said, Billy, take my picture. And I went to take the picture. And that happened. And so you're yelling at me to help you. And I took another picture.
I love it.
And then you said, come on. And then there you go.
I just kept posing for pictures?
Yep, because we were laughing. But you know, when those things happen to you, and you have a great sense of humor, and you really will roll with anything that happens. But is there something inside of you that's like, oh my God, I'm mortified, so I have to go with this and laugh? Or can you actually just laugh about it and think, isn't this funny?
Girl, I've broken more chairs, tables, fucking things. I mean, because of my weight, I was like, you know, I broke a lot of shit because of my weight, sitting on things. I remember just directors' chairs used to disintegrate underneath me, just like into dust. So, you know, it's like, you know, if you don't laugh, you're going to cry.
Right. And was it funny? I mean, when things happened, were they actually funny to you as well?
Embarrassing for a second, but I mean, you know, like for example, when I was in Florida and I was DJing a big party for all the drag queens, it was Michelle Visage was hosting, and it was Alaska and blah blah blah, all the girls, and I was drunk, and I went down to get a drink. I needed another one, and I came back up and I grabbed onto the side of the DJ booth up on the stage, and I went, ah, and the whole DJ booth and everything went crashing into the audience.
Oh,
that I didn't laugh at. That was not fun.
Yeah. I mean, you and I were alone in a VIP room. It was no big deal. That's in front of everyone.
Yeah, that was terrible. That was a terrible night.
Yeah, that's hard to recover from, I guess.
Yeah.
Although
I recovered from it. People thought it was hilarious, but you know what was really funny? No one had their camera rolling. No one took a picture. No one took a video. Someone was looking out for me that night.
You know, there you go. I had the foresight to say, no, I could help the big girl, or I could take a picture.
Or I could take photos.
So that's what I did. Well, because it was.
Send me those.
I will send you. And I had forgotten about them. It was Chad was with us, so that's why I remember. What do you think of the whole RuPaul and making drag so mainstream? Because you were really a pioneer in that.
Well, I consider myself one of the OGs, one of the legends, along with Jackie Beat and Hedda Lettuce and Lady Bunny. Yeah, and you know, Coco, Peru, and all the girls. You know, I consider them, even Roma, Sister Roma. I consider one of the.
Roma's been texting us, by the way, through this
she has?
show. Sister Roma, I love these pictures.
Oh,
and there you go. And she said, I was there, so I guess she was there.
Yes, we were all big friends with Jasmine. We did everything together.
Absolutely.
So, Jasmine has recently, I believe, quit drag.
I believe she has, but I think she could slip back in if somebody asked.
Baby girl Jasmine.
I loved my drag. But I do remember, you know, with Jasmine, some people had issues because I always thought Jasmine was fun and fabulous. They said, but what does she do? I said, she shows up in that.
Jasmine.
She's Jasmine. She shows up and looks fabulous and big, but fabulous.
And brings the party with her. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Jasmine and I have had a lot of issues between ourselves. I mean, I think, you know, that she sent me a beautiful note recently, and I have not responded to her. She sent me a really nice letter apologizing for some stuff, and it's just hard for me to talk to her because we kind of like parted not so well, but you know, she's extended the olive branch, and I should probably talk to her, and that's, you know, makes me the bigger person to go actually talk to her. But it's just, it's weird. You know, things in my past, and she was a big part of my past and a lot of part of the not good stuff in the past. And
do you hold a grudge?
No.
Yeah, because I don't know that about you.
No, I don't hold a grudge. That's the thing. I've made up with people that have wronged me so badly. And I'm going through something right now with someone that has wronged me so badly. And I'm trying not to act out on it. And I'm not gonna. act out on it. And actually, there's a couple people in my life right now that are on my shit list. But I will eventually, just if it passes, why do I have to hold on to the festering awfulness? Because then that just makes it gross for me inside. So if things get resolved between me and these people, I too will forgive that. I have to. Forget it.
Is it combined with the sobriety? This attitude of trying to get past things.
I've always been that way. I've always been that way because I don't like conflict.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever fight with someone like Roma or Shantae or important people like Dean Monroe, I never fight with Dean Monroe. He doesn't fight with anybody. I'm trying to think of like people like Chad Hunt. We've never really gotten in a fight either, but we've had conflicts before, and we can maybe talk about those. But I will never. Chad has been probably one of the most beautiful people in my life, and has been one of the most supportive and loving and caring people. He's like my child or my brother, or
Well, again, you came through the ranks together.
Yes,
there's history.
I feel like I kind of brought him. I don't even know. We can talk. I think it was Michael Lucas that brought him in. I'm not sure, but
I think so. He's nodding. He's nodding backstage.
Oh, okay. So as soon as I scooped him away from Michael Lucas, it was off to the races. So I don't know. It was, Chad and I became more than just director and star. We became he took care of me. He did so much for me that there'd still be stuff in my fucking storage unit in Los Angeles if it wasn't for Chad and his boyfriend at the time, Keith. It was like it would still all be there, rotting, or they would have sold it on that Storage Wars.
Right. Oh God, that would be a great episode,
wouldn't it?
Yes, I would. I'd platoon in for that. What about you and Bruce?
Oh God, I love Bruce. Bruce and we have a lot of stuff in common. Do I dare say this?
Yeah, say it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Bruce, are you gonna get mad at me if I say something gross?
He's nodding. Dirty? No, he's saying no. He's saying no.
We sucked a dick together.
Oh my God. Wait, I might have to bring him in for this. Hold on. You sucked a dick together?
Yes.
Well, here I am.
There you are.
Yeah, we
Hi,
did.
Brucey.
Hi. I remember you, cocksucker.
We sucked a dick together in, I think it was Palm Springs or Vegas, one of the two.
I got to organize myself.
Yes,
someplace like that. Probably, I think it was
during
Vegas,
the Hustler Ball
or something like that. I can't remember.
Yep.
I was chemically altered.
Yes.
And of course,
who was it?
You were too, legendarily.
You were going like this.
But do we know who it was?
Do we know
who it was? And
do I know
how
who it
much
was?
was
Yes,
the
I know
settlement?
who it was. It was. Oh shit. Not Ricky Larkin. It wasn't Ricky Larkin. It wasn't Chad. It was
somebody with enough dick for the two of you.
No, it was
Well, yeah.
God, he's not in the business anymore.
Ricky Sins.
It wasn't Ricky Sins.
Home.
A normal, corn-fed boy from Chicago.
All right, Shishi, you think about that backstage.
Yeah, really, I'll check my illegal files because I'm sure there was a settlement.
And if not, but the two of you have been Me Too'd. Shishi, I'm throwing you backstage. We're going to bring you back out in a few minutes.
All right.
Thanks, honey. Hi, honey.
Well, hi. That's an entrance. Dolly.
Look, I didn't.
The man you sucked a dick with.
Look, who am I to turn down a cue when one shows up?
Exactly right. She handed it to you like my dad.
Exactly. These transitions make themselves sometimes.
Right
how are you doing during everything? You were on, I think, like the second or third show I did.
That's
and
right.
It's been a while, but
with Andrew Mark?
that's right. You've been on two shows now that I think of it. You were also with Jackie Beat and I don't remember who. Alec Mappa.
With Alec. I showed up for a minute on that one. Yeah.
Yes. Well,
people fall out, and here I am.
That
quarantine. Quarantine Turner.
Can I tell you? So somebody, I usually don't name people who've said no to me, but I will in this case because it's just kind of funny. So I will be just walking down the street and the name Tony Fields, not Tony Fields. She's dead, but I'm put her on the list. So I get home and I have a list of 30 names and I just start emailing everyone. So one of the people on the list was Cassandra Peterson, Elvira.
Yeah.
And I got a very nice email back from her assistant, and it said, I'm sorry she's not available. Her schedule is full.
Well,
and I wanted
Halloween
to say,
came early this year.
Yeah, right. I'm like, it's not October yet. What is she doing? But I was nice.
You know, who knows?
I know.
You know, the New Yorker used to run a listings of nightclubs and things like that, and they would always have in italics at the top of the column it said, "Nightclub performers and owners lead complicated lives. Always call ahead to check."
And us. I think
that kind of says it all.
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, so how are you doing during the quarantine? You're okay?
No, I'm good. I mean, I'm embarrassed because I'm working a lot. Because writing
That's
is the
good.
one thing.
Don't be embarrassed.
You know, as an actor, of course, there's nothing, but or television. I mean, but mostly it's I've been writing a whole lot of stuff and getting paid for it, and so I empathize with everybody who's really suffering. I don't have to be out there, and it's fine. I'm zooming and streaming and reading and writing and falling in love with porn stars long dead. Yeah, I've gone through all the living ones, and now I'm back to like Dick Fisk. I go back. Leo Ford. I go back.
You do go back. That's true.
What can I tell you?
But
I have nostalgia for orgasms I had then.
But isn't that great? I mean, I look back, like I said, I have no recollection of meeting Esther Roll. And I'm like, but apparently I did. There's a photo. I now have to figure out where that could have been.
Strangeness. Yeah, she's a very nice lady. I met her, but I worked with her. But that fascinating. I mean, there are people who tell me, "Oh, I met you in so and so," and of course, I have no memory of that.
Yeah.
But because I meet a lot of people.
Right,
and
absolutely.
Probably the same with you. I'd probably remember though if there was a stray photo of Esther Roll.
Or me and Emmanuel Lewis.
If you meet them at an event and it's like a moment or something like that, somebody takes a picture. It's it can slip, and of course we're blonde, so.
Oh, but look, so the roots have grown so much. All that's blonde is the tip, so I don't dare trim because now I'm gonna have to recolor.
Really?
I know.
They're growing in your color, so they're not growing in Silver Daddy White.
No, I would kill for the silver. Salt and pepper, I think, is so sexy. I'd save a fortune on highlights.
Yeah. Wait, it won't be long. It'll start. You'll have that option will suddenly appear on your menu.
And then I'll complain, right? Remind me of that.
Then you'll be running. It's like me. Schwarzkopf 23.
Well,
lather it on. Come on.
They say that
boil me up.
The color pigmenting comes from your mother on your mother's side. Was your mother? Now I have this great picture of you and your mother. I don't think I've ever sent you this one.
No. Oh, well, look, there I am. There's the tummy tum tum. Well, this was backstage at Hairspray. Obviously.
This was dress rehearsal for the national tour.
Oh,
so
in Newark.
In Newark, yes.
Jerry Mitchell, our choreographer, who's now
Jerry Mitchell.
Jerry Mitchell, Tony-winning choreographer director.
Yes,
and my mother, and a vast expanse of me, because I think Jerry probably grabbed me by the T-shirt for the photo. And my mother and I looked very alike there, but in fact, she was my adopted mother.
Oh, really?
My birth mother. No. She looks great, though.
She does look great. And of course, I was backstage with my natural hair color. So there you go.
That was the strangest performance. That was our first performance ever. We kept the show at Newark, and that was our first. And the only audience was the cast of Hairspray from Broadway.
Right. And a few invited guests. There were little, there would be thunderous.
The only thing the cast on Broadway laughed at were the fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Only things that went wrong, that got laughs. Nothing that was supposed to get a laugh got a laugh. And then Jack O'Brien, who was the director, came backstage afterwards, and I said, "Were we that bad?" And he said, this is what you have to remember. Those people out there were watching a show and realizing for the first time in their lives that somebody else could play these parts.
That's true. Yeah.
And they weren't going to react at all. Harvey was the only one. Harvey, I could hear Harvey laughing. And Harvey was very gracious and generous when he came backstage.
I remember
so was Dick Latessa, who was playing opposite him.
I was in the front of the balcony, and I was laughing very loudly. And Jimmy Vukovic, who was your musical director, heard me and texted me and said, "Can you please come downstairs and sit behind me for the second act?"
Laugh closer.
So for the second act,
we went to where else but Baltimore to open the tour. And from then on, it was great. It was fabulous. But I will never forget it. I'll never forget that first audience. It was Jack's explanation, which was so spot on. So, because like for 2 years they've been playing this show, and they were the only ones.
And I remember when I came backstage, you said to me, "Oh God, you were here," because it was like you want your friends to see you in the best environment, of course. But I knew I could tell. And as a matter of fact, I had the advantage. I had not seen it on Broadway at that point. I think you were my first.
Oh, that's good. Well, a lot of people were like that. And I used to love when we went around the country. I toured it for a year. We played 14 cities. It was a great high-end tour. And I used to get these reviews that would compare me to Harvey. And I would think, what does anybody in Cincinnati care what Harvey did?
Right.
They didn't have a chance to see it.
Right.
It's like, talk about your white privilege, your critic privilege.
Right. Yeah, I was really glad. I really try whenever I go to see something, particularly if I'm going to write about it, I don't want to know anything in advance. I don't want to see it. I usually don't even read the press kit. I really want to be surprised. And I had a great time from day one. And I remember thinking to myself at that point, how much was Jerry? Because I knew Jack O'Brien, obviously, but even Jerry, there were touches, even in non-choreographed moments. I said, that's a Jerry moment. And I knew he was going to be, he was going on to directing. And I'm so glad that for all his success. Yeah,
I'm delighted. And they had it was a great collaboration.
Oh, I think they worked together beautifully.
Yeah, they really did. They worked together well, and they were going to direct the movie.
Yes, well, so the film premiere, I actually went with Jerry. Jerry was my date to the premiere, and he didn't want to go.
Out here or
no, in New York, in New York, and he was on the fence. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go. I want to support my friends, but and through the movie, he was just moaning. I've waited my life for Jerry Mitchell to moan next to me, and that wasn't the way I wanted it.
No, you're already. If you were 22, you were too old.
I knew that is
because he's
I don't want to.
That's the same boyfriend for a long time now, right?
Ricky and Ricky have been together for at least 10 years, at least.
But he liked him. He liked him young
and limber, apparently.
Not actionably young.
No.
Not man-act young. But,
no. So how did you get involved with the gay porn stars? Because I associate you with gay porn, and I may be the only one.
I'm sure somebody else does. My lawyer. Well, I was always a fan of it, and I'm trying to think of how I actually got involved in it. In the community, that is to say,
right?
And I can't put my finger on it, but I remember when I met Shishi.
Okay.
Shishi, we were both friends of a very curious guy named Bruce Decker, who was a longtime Republican, but he was a big gay activist. And he was like the precursor of the Log Cabin Republicans, I think. But unlike the Log Cabin Republicans, he didn't hate himself.
And this is around what year?
Oh my God! Early '80s, I guess.
Okay.
It was all because of
she is nodding.
It was because it was one of the first fundraisers. We did an outdoor fundraiser at UCLA, and she co-hosted it with another drag queen whose name I can't remember, but who they were both big blondes working in full daylight, which I thought was incredibly brave. And we had a great time doing this thing, and Bruce Decker had organized it. And I don't think that she was in the porn business yet. I think she was just a drag queen and performing and, being a performance artist, like you were mentioning, like Jasmine before. But she was like the best at it. She was somebody who was really at home on stage. She wasn't one of those drag queens who was put the outfit on and said, "Look at me," and then didn't know what to do.
Right. It's funny.
It was a full-blown creation.
Well, people would ask me because she did become really the de facto host of pretty much everything that was porn related. And people would say, why did she host everything? Not against her. And I said, is there anyone else? Because, it hadn't been to the point that, I don't want to say drag queens, but drag queens were seen and not heard at the time.
Yeah.
And she was a performer.
Right.
It's like it's her obituary.
Listen, don't start with obituaries. Bette Midler, with whom I've been collaborating for 50 years. Bette Midler has, and I have a joke about her obituary, which will, it'll start no matter what she does in life. It'll be Bette Midler, who started her career in a gay bathhouse.
That is true.
Was found dead, whatever. It will never escape. That will always be there, and it will always have A-list positioning. What I was going to say was Decker did a lot of benefits, and they were supported by the gay porn industry, and that was how I got involved, because I would then MC. I was emceeing that benefit, as a matter of fact, and I emceed a lot and I wound up emceeing the Gay Porn Awards out in LA. I forget what they were called.
The Divas Gay Erotic Video
GDN or something like that. Yeah, it was a big deal at the Hollywood Palladium.
Oh, sure. I was a judge.
And there were and a lot of that. And so that's how I actually got involved with them. And we brought them in. Actually, the Scott Whitman, who directed the second Commitment to Life benefit, which was for APLA, brought a whole bunch of porn people in on it, because they were volunteers, and of course there was the audience, which was a lot of gay guys, was thrilled to see Chad Donovan, and Ryan Idle and those guys amongst them, and seating them and stuff like that. That's the word I want to use. Anyway, so that was how I got involved. And once you're exposed to porn, you never leave.
She's doing something. Hold on, what is she doing? What are you doing?
No, I'm doing the once we get you, you'll never leave.
Right, that's it.
But no, you hosted the at the Palladium. You hosted the Gay Video Guide Awards.
That was
what Saban was in charge with
Nikki Ski.
Oh, right, the one that I almost bought.
You did?
Almost, yeah. Saban and I were in the discussions. I kind of saw the writing on the wall of where this was going, and I thought better of it at the last minute. But.
Well, you know what? Really, in reality, there is the Gavians and there's the Grabbies, and that's it.
At this point, right? And I'm glad the Gavians are back, because I think there should be two. And I love that Chicago has one. Yes.
Oh my God, how freaking amazing was that?
Yeah. Oh,
Alec and what's the comedian that he was with?
Oh God,
the woman.
Yeah, but I forget who. But all I remember is Alec.
God, she was funny though. It was really good. Really good.
I just wish we had something in LA. I mean, we still have little things, that we go to, but we don't really care about them. But so the three of us, Chad, we're going to get to you. I keep looking at Chad. We're going to get to you. I know I was going to, but let's
not bring him on. He's got bad stories about both of us.
He's in Ohio. He needs to be part of this.
The three of us appeared in a gay porn together. We appeared in Fucking with the Stars.
Fucking with the Stars.
I was nominated for a Grabby Award for Best Non-Sexual Performance.
Did you win?
When you hear the category, you think, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Does that mean you're like you're lousy in bed? What is that?
I think you won, didn't you?
Did I win? I think I
think you did.
I have to look. I got a shelf of lucite here of various tributes. And
Well,
I'll
the
have-
that
three
was
of us,
so
the
fun
three
that
of us
day.
are on the
They like
grabby wall of shame, right? Aren't we? All
Yes.
three of us.
oh
I
yeah,
think Chad is also.
I didn't.
Oh, Chad.
I didn't think I won that one, but I don't know.
No, yeah,
Here
we're all
I
on the
don't-
grabby
Twice tonight.
wall of fame.
Chad.
Yes, and here we all are on the set of Fucking with the Stars.
There we are.
God, what
Absolutely.
a fabulous
Who
picture!
that-
I love that. See, I gotta send you all these pictures.
Where's
What?
Coco Lachine? Was
She's
she?
behind my.
She's
big
right
hair.
behind.
Oh, is that
right-
behind you? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize.
And then, of course, there we are as judges.
Oh my God, that's fabulous!
And this, of course.
That's
But
right.
I'm going to let me show a little clip because I think this is a little too funny. So
my God.
here's the three of us collaborating together. The
This
one
was
and
all
only.
ad libbed, by the way. This
Yeah,
was
oh,
all
no.
ad libbed.
Oh yeah, we should say okay. We did it all in a day, like an afternoon. It was
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
short. We just were in and out. We knew what we were doing. Well,
Right.
kind of, as you'll
Well,
see
you know,
in the
we
clip.
ad libbed it. It was fun.
Well, because we all knew that she was going to be the Paula Abdul judge that was fawning and didn't know where she was. Bruce was going to be the voice of reason and a real fan, and I was going to be a little hateful, but in a funny
You were the
way.
Simon Cowell. Yeah.
Right,
I was
exactly.
Randy.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. Andy. Oh my God, colorblind casting. Okay.
That's right. And then
All
he
right.
lost weight, and then
Well. Okay, here's the clip.
Fucking with the stars, fucking with the stars.
Artistic merits of tonight's competition. Tell me, what will you be looking for?
Oh, darling, you know what? Each boy brings his own special Billy nuance to the whole package. They're
Okay,
all-
thank you, Miss LaRue. That should be sufficient. I'm sure we got the gist of what you're trying to say.
drunk?
Well, we
No,
won't
but I
go
could
there.
be.
We're on camera, Billy. So, Billy Masters, tell me, you are.
Was the
Oh wait,
sound
oh wait,
on?
there's more. There's more. Where is it? Wait. Where'd it go? Oh,
Is the
Jesus.
sound on?
Yeah, are you not here? Yeah, I think we're backstage. We can't hear.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hold on. We're going.
Fucking with the stars, fucking with the stars.
Artistic merits of tonight's competition. Tell me, what will you be looking for?
Oh, darling, you know what? Each boy brings his own special Billy nuance to the whole package. They're
Okay,
all-
thank you, Miss LaRue. That should be sufficient. I'm sure we got the gist of what you're trying to say.
drunk?
Well, we
No,
won't
but I
go
could
there.
be.
We're on camera, Billy. So, Billy Masters, tell me, you are a Hollywood insider. If you were to cast, I know you've been inside quite a few of them. So tell me, if you were to cast,
I thought you were a porn star. I thought you were a star. I thought that you were in porn. I thought that being in porn showed how much of a star you were.
We only have one night, Miss LaRue. Thank you so much for your lovely comment. And now let's see what Mr. Vilanch has to say.
I want what you're having, and lots of it, and heavy dosage. I thought you were just amazing. That's the
Reveal their
best part.
scores. Billy Masters,
9.
Chi LaRue.
10.
You're holding up a 7. Crazy drunken bitch. God.
Okay, sorry.
So unprofessional. First time on the set.
No one's gonna get this but me. Bruce?
Enough. That's fine. Good. Stop. Yes, the chins were there. Well, it's a work of rare genius, is all I
Oh
can
my
say.
God, that is freaking.
10.
And your coat of many colors that you were wearing.
Oh, my.
I still have that dress.
Oh, I don't know why it didn't win more awards. How is Coco doing? Did she still work for you, Shishi?
No, she's back in New York.
Oh, okay. I loved Coco. Coco's great. Now, Bruce, you've appeared in other porn, haven't you?
I have. Well, privately, I guess.
No, you've done some. Is that the only non-sexual role you've ever done?
Didn't you do like Velvet Mafia or something? Weren't you
That's
like
porn?
It was. Yeah, it was.
I was in that one too.
It was a documentary, right?
I was in that one also.
No, that's a Falcon.
Oh, it's a Falcon. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
Chris Steele directed it, and
Right.
yeah, it was Brent
I turned it
Corrigan
down.
was the star.
I turned it down.
So but you limit yourself mostly to being a fan. Is that what you're saying, Bruce?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm limited to being mostly a fan. I mean, I think if I have,
I think Bruce is one of the best fans that we've ever had. I mean, there's a list. There's probably a list of fans, and Bruce would definitely be at the top of that list.
Well, I mean, I like it. I enjoy it, and I think many people do who will never own up to it. And I keep getting approached by people who want to do backstories, the backstage porn things. And the truth of it is that everybody, it falls into everyone loves the steak, but no one wants to see how you kill the cow category. Right. There's a stealing to although I think those stories are brilliant. I mean, I think there's a lot. The biggest one ever.
There's some bad stories.
That wasn't all that big.
There's some bad behind the scenes stories.
Yeah, there's some great dramatic stuff, but the fact is, it's about people who do porn, and there's no.
If you told the story,
want to know about them.
If you told a story of model A and model B that happened before the scene was done, where they were literally going to kill each other on the set, they were going to beat each other the fuck up. I had one of those in New Orleans. They were hating each other. Two of them, I thought, I was directing it with John Rutherford, and I thought to myself, okay, John, we can't do this today. This is not going to happen. This is going to be the worst. We're not going to get anything. It's going to be gross, and I'm scared. But when they came together on the set, it was like the ultimate grudge fuck, and it was a fabulous scene.
Well, says by
our friend Florian Klein, who's Peter Berlin, Hans Berlin.
Right. Who I had on last
this
week.
Musical called Shooting Stars, which was done in West Hollywood and was a great success. But I keep telling him, don't set your sights too high, because there is a limit of the audience that's going to want to see a show about a kid who becomes a porn star. And of course, as the nightmare descent into booze and pills, which is like the platypus true Hollywood story. It all started with
most Ronnie Larson plays.
I was just gonna say that. Okay, so it was like, as long as you have a dick in it. I mean, Jeff Stryker, for instance, she does her little thing and she comes out at the end with her robe and her greased up cock and lets everybody touch it.
Bruce and I sat
for that.
Well, I put it together. The last one, the Sophisticated Evening with Jeff Stryker, I put together because he's got a great story, and we were trying to sell it, and we almost sold it to HBO and Showtime. We had great meetings with them, but they each went with another project that was porn centric. Showtime did a series about a couple. Not Circus of Books, but a couple in the Valley. I think the name's Berman, who actually produced porn. A Jewish couple in the Valley, and they did about a series that nobody watched, and they didn't want to. That was what they did instead of our show. And HBO said, "Well, we have in development a show about a guy who has nothing but a big dick, and we're buying that one."
Oh, that was
with Anne Heche and
and what's his name?
And Mary Beth Parker and
that's all I wanted to do was see him naked.
And you never saw it, and
no, you never did.
Jane, was that
Mr. Big? It was called, wasn't it?
Or just big or something. I forget.
Something like that, yeah. Anyway, so we lost, and those were only buyers. And now Jeff is trying to get Netflix interested off of Circus of Books and Tiger King. We felt like maybe they.
Well, I got to tell you, I think it would be a hit.
Yeah. And speaking of big dicks, we've got a big one right here.
What a segue.
Thank you. You know, you handed it to me. Once again, you set him up, I'll knock him out of the park. We have porn legend, Mr. Chad Hunt is here.
At last.
Yay!
Hey. Hi there.
Hey, Bruce. Hi,
Hi.
Joey. Hi,
Again.
Jish.
Oh,
My three
how-
favorite
You know that,
people all in
Rue.
one room.
Oh, listen to him. This is
Oh.
why he is Miss Congeniality as well. Chad, now you're listening to us. Were you thinking anything in terms of like bad experiences on the set that people never see?
I was trying to think when you were talking about the guy whose dick that Sheesh and Bruce both sucked, whether it was mine or not, because I know they both have.
Well,
Now
I'd
it should be
say
told.
I'd say I never, but I never.
I think we were planning it one time, Billy. I just don't think
We were very close. We were on a dance floor. I do remember
the
that.
best memory of Chad and that thing between his legs for me was after the Grabby Awards in Chicago. We all were in a limousine, and there was a new boy that wanted to do movies, and someone in the car, I don't know if it was Mark McNamara or who it was, but they were like, "Oh, you can audition right now," or Mark Nagel or someone. You can audition right now. Well,
It was
Chad,
Mark Nagel. It was Mark Nagel.
Well, of course
You're
it was.
always game to just whip it out and take it home.
Why
You know?
not?
So actually, speaking of fans, a story just was making the rounds last week. So I want to ask three of you about it. I don't know if you heard about it, but this was allegedly posted, and it's allegedly real, but I don't believe it is, about a guy. Now Nana's got to put on her glasses. So this guy wrote that there is an adult film star I've been crushing on for years that I really am interested in. He looked at my profile on Scruff and asked if he could fly me out and do a scene with me. I really want to, but I worry about the consequences. Would you do it with a mask on? Would you decline the offer? And are there people here with professional jobs that do videos? How would this affect your career? Now, I think this is all made up. But
Well, there are boys right now. There's guys that are doing OnlyFans and just for fans that are, they're making a lot of money. So they are hooking up with people off the internet, and they actually have enough money
like
to bring
fans?
them.
Wow.
Yes, to bring them in to do a scene with them that they normally wouldn't do a full scene. But can you say who the porn star is?
No, he doesn't say.
Oh.
What would you advise this person? It's someone he's always fantasized about. He's worried about COVID, and he's worried about his professional career. Yeah,
Well, then don't do it then. If you're worried about anything, don't do it.
Yeah,
but
right.
if there's the only chance you get with your crush.
You know what? You either do it or you don't do it, and you go into it with the anticipation or the belief that everyone is going to see it.
And there's always a mask you can wear. Put yourself in a little puppy dog hood or something.
That's what I was thinking, or a zipper situation.
Right. See, now if I was that porn star, I would say, because the face to me is one of the most important organs on a person. Sometimes I would do.
Yeah.
I
agree.
Absolutely
agree.
But I would say for that though, and then OnlyFans, it's not like my era of porn where it was all dialogue and you like looking at the model's eyes as they were down, doing it for you. So today, a lot of it is just in a hole.
And we don't know really, is the guy at top? Is he at bottom? Is he just looking for an ass or a mouth? Is he looking to get, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, nowadays you can do anything. It's like there's a fetish for everything, but also people sometimes they just like a dick in a hole. And that to me is boring. I'd rather see cock sucking through the whole thing. I'm a fucking oral freak. I love ass eating and sucking and stuff like that. And I've had to learn actually how to do more anal in my movies, because I will do sucking, inging, rimming, sucking, this and that, and kissing, sucking, and then, okay, fuck for a position, hurry up. But
not your
all
thing.
sounded Japanese. What was he saying?
Chad, do you have a favorite of all of your films? Because you've done so many. You've had a really
Oh,
long career.
geez. You know, I've worked with so many great people and for so many great directors, that's kind of hard. But for certain, two of my favorites, of course, she directed Oral Exams in Detention. I got to be with the fabulous Matt Sumbers. He's still remained to this day an amazing friend of mine. I speak to him almost every day.
We talk every day on Facebook, all of us.
Yeah, yes. You know, Maddie's great. I was with Maddie and Oral Exam and the whole entire crew in that movie. I was the orgy cock as
Johnny Hazard.
I think I'm the one who has won the most on the GayVN awards. I think I've won the most group scene awards out of anybody.
Oh, I think so. And as a judge, Bruce, you were a judge for the GayVNs as well, aren't you?
I was going to say, there is, if you go to Pornhub, and you Google, you type in Chad Hunt, one of the clips that comes up is entitled 25 Mouths on Chad Hunt's Dick. And it's 10 minutes.
That?
It's 10 minutes of you being blown, sometimes by two people.
I think you directed that too. I think it was Lickety Split.
It's an endless series.
25 people.
Well, I think Bruce is saying it's like a montage.
It's a long montage of
it's different
25 different people are doing it.
Okay, and I love that.
Oh my God!
You have 25 different reactions.
Look, he's got 25 expressions.
Exactly.
No, I mean, Chad was always putting those. Chad, you were always putting those movies because you have not only a giant penis, you have a giant penis that gets hard without any help, without any Trimix or Viagra or anything like that. You always knew. Put a butt in my face and I'm good to go.
Yep.
See, this is the secrets that people don't know that happen behind the scenes.
There's a lot of people that have little quirks that they need done, like D'Angelo Jackson. He needs to have his nipples played with to come. And you and you know what the
Hang
best
on,
is?
I'm taking notes.
The best one is Logan Reed. He would be so fabulous. And then when to come, he couldn't have anything except he needed one of those blowjob books that would have stories in it. And he would hold it right up to his face. Like it was, I said, can he read that close to it? So he'd have it close. And then you'd know when he's going to come because the book would go flying through the air.
I remember that on the set of In Gear. That was the first time I met him, and he was one of my biggest porn crushes of all time.
Really?
That was one of the first movies I did for you, and I totally remember him.
Was that the movie where the boy, I can't remember his name, was sitting on your dick and then got up and sat on your face and back on your dick and then back on your face?
Oh yeah. Tommy Sachs.
Oh my God, you remembered the name Tommy Sachs. I love it. Go out and watch that movie In Gear. It's fab.
Yeah. I had the big thing for Tommy Sachs too. So cute. So cute.
Chi, did it change for you when you became an owner of a studio? Because now you not only were just a director for hire, because you had worked for every studio, now you really had to be more of a business person.
Well, you know what? It's so weird, Billy, because I never really liked that because I really wanted to still continue to work for everybody. It was weird because I always felt like I was missing out on things. So I continued to work for Falcon for a while when I went to Channel 1. And I worked for All Worlds. And then it's funny because then we bought All Worlds.
Right.
And then we bought Catalina, which is so bizarre because Catalina is who I started with. And so we bought Catalina, we bought All Worlds, and we were in the process of buying Falcon, but that met with lots of roadblocks, which were not John Rutherford, not Chuck Holmes, because God rest his soul, Chuck was gone, and there were people making decisions over at Falcon that were not doing the best for Falcon. But now Falcon's in good hands. Now Falcon is great with Tim Valenti and all the directors they have over there. It's awesome. And I still continue to do stuff for them. Some of the best stuff right now for them. And
you also did a lot of straight porn, I know, for Vivid in particular.
I miss that.
Yeah. When did you stop doing that?
When Vivid stopped.
That was it?
Movies. Yeah. I was directing all the Contract Girls, and I did Janet Jameson's last 5-7 movies. And then all the Contract Girls wanted to work with me. So it was really, really fun because I would get the straight guys to get their ass licked.
I was just going to say that. You always knew it was a Chi LaRue directed Vivid film if a girl was eating a guy's ass.
Why, is that a rarity?
I was met with a little resistance at first. The European guys always just did it like for they loved it. But it was the big straight porn stars that were, God, do I dare say this? It was the big straight porn guys that were going over to David Forrest's house late on a weekend.
Yeah, well,
that
God rest his soul.
Well, he's gone, so
God rest his little soul. He's getting peed on in heaven.
His urine entrenched soul, exactly.
I remember you said that you used to say that the reason he loved David Forrest was no matter what time of day or night you called him, he answered the phone. Good evening.
Good evening. And sometimes it was like this. Good evening.
He was always the madam. Always the madam. It was always. Yes. It's time for sex now. Good evening.
Oh, David was a lot of stuff, but he generally was a good guy.
Well, I had a good time with him, but I mean, I know everything. Everything they say about him is true, and I had a good experience with him.
As did I. And a lot of the boys would say to me, "Oh, he did this to me. Could you write about it?" And I'm like, "What am I going to write about it? Everyone knows that stuff."
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you guys about some of the legendary guys of porn from days gone by, and just tell me if you have a story about any of them. So let's discuss Ryan Idle, who I hear is soon to be released from prison.
Really?
Yes, that's what I hear.
Oh, he'll probably come and shoot me.
Well, you're in the witness protection at this point. We don't know where you are.
Go ahead. If anybody else has got a story.
Ryan was before me.
Bruce?
I don't have. Scott Whitman has a great story. He took him to the opening of Cabaret on Broadway, and I don't know. He fell out a window, I think. And
yes, I was there in New York, and I went and visited him.
Right. And I know him, and I worked with him a few on award shows. He was on that KBN award thing.
Yeah.
And I saw him a few times, and he was like, I don't know what, maybe he was bipolar, I don't know, but he was sweet and gentle, and then he would go to rage right away. Not the bar. I mean, and it was like, holy shit, what happened?
Yeah. I think it was.
This was kind of like a borderline personality. And then when he was like, was he in a holdup or something? And that's what he's doing time for?
No, it was the girlfriend over the head with
hitting the girlfriend over the head. It was something, violent. And and I just thought, I felt terrible because I'd had times with him that were wonderful, but he was a lot of fun. And,
I'm ditto with that. He was, I directed some of the best movies with him. I think Idle Country was one of my favorite movies that I've ever done, and he happened to be the star of it. And, it was beautiful. It was shot by Bruce Cam. It was gorgeous. We shot it in Sacramento at a farm. Him and I have this kind of weird love-hate thing going on, and I don't know why there's hate, but I think a lot of that hate was fueled by David Forrest. And I've got nothing bad to say about him. I wish that he wouldn't have those violent spurts, but he, and I don't have anything bad to say about him. I just wish that he was. I wish him the best.
I probably go back with him further than all of you because when he lived in Worcester, Massachusetts, I was hosting strip shows in Boston, and he stripped for me. And he had started, I think, doing women's, like stripping in women's clubs, and I think I might have been like the first gay club he ever stripped in. And he only danced for me a couple times. And I just remember he was really flaky. He wasn't like bad, but when he was on, he was great. And then he would just be completely removed. And then years later, I met him in LA and I hosted him several times and interviewed him, and he would be fine. But what I always thought about him was he knows enough to know what he should say, but he still doesn't know enough to not get out of his own way, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That sounds like a lot of the boys who worked for David.
Well,
yes,
kind of in a way. Billy Brandt was the same way.
Oh my God! Well, David turned him into a nightmare, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, David took on the, it was like David Forrest's island of misfit porn stars. It's kind of like,
So now
he was the crack in the box. Kidding.
Oh, let's mention Chad Donovan. So speaking of Chads, Chad Hunt, did you work with Chad Donovan?
I worked for him when he was doing stuff with Falcon, but I never worked with him. I actually speak to him and his boyfriend Sam a lot. They live
they're so great.
Right. And I love Sam to death. He's such a sweetheart. But Chad Donovan's great. I never had the chance of working with him, but for him, he was also good as a director.
I think I met you through him.
Potentially, yeah.
I think so. I think so. I think he was one of the guys who work on the AIDS benefit on Commitment to Life.
Right.
And after we got together, he said, "Oh, you're like my friend."
We were speaking earlier about not remembering things. I think me and him actually had a little fun one time, but I'm not for sure. There's so many guys that I don't even remember. So many guys will email me or text me.
It's like me and Esther Roll. You can't remember them all.
Remember when we did this? I'm like, who are you?
There you go. She, what about you and Chad? Oh, wait, I think we've muted you. You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Hit your mute button. I think you're muted. I don't know how to do it. I can't do it. Maybe I can do it on my end. No, I can't. Leave the studio. I'm gonna bump you from the studio and then just come back in. Okay, hold on a second. Kick from studio. Kicker. Chad, so while we're alone, hello, Bruce.
Hi.
Chad, how did
I'm
you
in
get
between the two of you, isn't that?
It's a Bruce
Vilanch
sandwich. Oh, first, Bruce, lots of people are saying that they love your hat.
Oh, yes. Watch that turd on November 3rd.
Oh,
very
good for you.
Yay.
Chad,
Well
how
done.
did you get into porn?
Originally, I was dancing at a club in Columbus called the Eagle, and there's an Eagle in every town. And a photographer came up to me and asked me to do pictures for then. I think the company was Jiffy. They had Inches and all of those. So I did a layout for Inches, and then from doing that layout, I actually got a phone call from Michael Lucas, and he asked me to do his movie. So I did. And strangely, every single porn company, including Larry's, turned me down for like 2 years. Michael Lucas was the first company who ever actually.
That's not true.
That is true. I sent him to John. I sent him to Falcon. I sent him to Catalina. I know I sent one to C1R. The only way I got you was because Enrico Vega gave me your personal email address.
Wow.
And you said,
Are you sure it wasn't just because I wanted to get you away from Michael Lucas?
That could have been.
Well, that actually brings us to the next person. Let's talk about Michael Lucas, who we all have experiences with. But I'm going to start with Chi because your experience with him have been such extremes.
Yeah.
You know what? And I just spoke to him like 2 days ago, and he was a dreamboat. And
I was going to invite him, actually.
Michael and I have been. There's the public Michael Lucas, and then there's the when Michael Lucas is just being at home. You know what I mean? And Michael and I, he has helped me before greatly in many ways that I don't. He told me never to talk about it, but I am not going to talk about it.
Right.
But he has helped, and I've helped him. We have this relationship that's very. When we're together in public, he thinks it's funny when we, oh, darling, darling. But that's not,
The Michael,
No, Michael's Michael. He's like, there's a lot of people that would say, oh God, Chi LaRue. But,
Sure.
Michael Lucas is Michael. And I don't have anything bad to say about him. He's pissed me off.
He's the Snooki of porn.
He has pissed me off more than anything.
That's what he is.
He has pissed me off so bad in the past, but then he does something really sweet.
Mhm.
And, there's hilarious. I want to tell this story, but I got to.
Go ahead.
He's very anti. He doesn't drink. He doesn't want people doing drugs. He's very anti all that.
Right.
And there was a model on one of his sets that was eating something, I think, in a hallway during a shoot. And Michael was he was in a little bit of a frenzy, directing and do this, we got to do this, we got to do that. And he grabbed the candy bar out of the person's hand and ate it. Well, it was a pot brownie. And he, thought it was just a candy bar, and he just started going, "What's going on?" It was really hilarious, but I would kill to have been there.
Oh my God. Speaking of food, I have to say that I was at a restaurant in New York with Mark Sendroff, who most of us know.
Yeah.
And somebody came over and said the check has been already taken care of. And Michael was way in the back with somebody, and he saw us and just took care of the check. And
that's what Michael does.
And and every once in a while, I won't hear from him for years, and then I'll get something delivered on my birthday or for Christmas for no apparent reason. And but I will say, this is my funniest experience, was he had done a show with you, Shishi, in Philadelphia. There was a panel discussion.
Yeah,
and I was
Philadelphia Gay Film Festival.
And I was there just as a
I was
guest,
there.
which
You
were
were
you there
there.
too? Oh, that's right. Because we had a party afterwards.
Yes,
I remember
yes.
this. Because I met Matthias that night. Do you remember Matthias, Shishi? I know Chad remembers. You remember him if you saw his pictures. Anyway, so we went back to the hotel. This is when Alec was working with Michael, and I was close with Alec. And he was going to change. So I was in Michael's room, and Michael just started to change in front of me and suddenly turned into a performer. Like he was seducing me. It was like, Mr. Lucas, are you trying to seduce me?
I love it.
And it was not anything sexual. It was just about adulation is what it was about.
Yeah.
And it felt like
Michael
it was
a
an ego.
show off in everything.
Yeah.
In everything he did.
Always.
And I adore him, but I've never had the bad experiences some people have had. Chad, you've worked with him a lot.
Oh yeah, sort of like you were saying, like Shishi was saying earlier. There's the public Michael Lucas, and then there's the private Michael Lucas, and the same with Shishi as well. A lot of people couldn't stand Shishi. I've had my problems with Shishi, but
we'll get to that.
Larry is the best. Larry is the absolute dreamboat. But with Michael, you have to take him as a comment. Michael is he's always the villain. He's the villain of porn. In many regards, but he can be the sweetest person in the world. Like I said, he gave me my first chance, and I was in at least probably 10, 12 of his movies,
right.
And
enough to do the best of Chad Hunt.
Twice.
2 volumes. Did you ever have sex with him, Chad?
Okay, so no. There was one time there was a scene that for some reason in the middle of it he decided that he needed to jump in, and I put an end to that real quick.
No way, get out, get that thing away from my face.
know I would have laughed the entire time. It would not have been a good scene. There are some people, when you do porn, you have to realize a lot of these people become your friends.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
And you're like giddy schoolgirls if you're trying to have sex with this person. You know, it's no way was it going to happen where I could at all have sex with Michael. It was too much.
Bruce, have you had any experiences with Michael Lucas, or have you ever been a giddy schoolgirl?
I'm still a giddy schoolgirl.
God love you.
I'll sing Gilbert and Sullivan for you. I'm very giddy. I've known Andre for years. I met him having sex with him, and then we started talking, and and he told me his story. Yeah, well, you get that's the thing about being gay. You get all that shit over with first, and then you romance. So then he told me his story, which was fascinating, and because he told me about being a Russian Jew who was nevertheless uncut, and he told me the story behind that, and just everything, and it was kind of fascinating. He did at some point there was a documentary about him, and I was in it with him, I think. But when I was on Broadway in Hairspray, does he still have that husband?
No,
I don't know. Because I went to the first wedding.
They had a house on Fire Island, and we went out for the weekend. And Chad, you were there.
I was there. Yeah.
On a cover of Now magazine, the New York thing.
Next.
It was me and you and Michael and some other person with a very large appendage, and I can't think of who that other person was. But it was we was like at the pool of their house and all that. So we were there for that weekend, and a lot happened. And of course, I also found out the lore of Michael Lucas on Fire Island, who was like the amanuensis. Everybody hated him because he was very political and got in the face of everybody who was all the people who'd been there for years, and he was going to fix everything and all that. And that was kind of the beginning. And this is almost, this is like 15 years ago, the beginning of him becoming this sort of political nut job,
activist,
with the anti-Arab screeds.
Is he a Republican?
And all that. So I don't know if he's gone that far or not. I suspect. But I mean, I haven't really had I had contact with him off and on. When he was still married, there was a dinner at the place in New York.
Yeah.
And but I kind of lost. Then he became a mogul, a porn mogul, and created a great deal of ill will. And I would see him at award ceremonies where he would win things, but he would get booed at the same time,
or get ice thrown at him, or
let's speak about that. Ice throwing. I remember the ice as well. So Shishi, there was an issue. I remember just when the industry was on the brink of converting to only condoms, and then it kind of went back a little bit. And there was an issue. Was it that Michael was against anyone who was doing non-condom?
No, he was on the train of condoms only.
Right.
He was on the, you better. He was like almost sometimes more than me.
And really protesting anyone, vilifying like Treasure Island at that time.
Right. Well, then as we all did and all have seen the economy or the need for to do bareback and with the testing and the antiretrovirals and all the different things that were happening, he went before anyone, and then he was called a hypocrite. I've been called a hypocrite too.
Sure. So, because you had the Wrap It Up campaign.
Yes, I did. And now my Wrap It Up campaign goes to masks and gloves.
Good.
I wanted to say one thing about Michael. Sure. Michael, for all his misgivings and all that, he loves his family, and he takes care of his family. He took care of his mom, and he took care of his grandma, and he takes care of his brother, and he takes care of the kids, and he takes care of like he always, like, he was a mama's boy, and it was sweet and it was real. And if somebody was in trouble that was good to him, he was there to take care of them.
Oh, sure. I agree with that 100%. Like I said, I knew him for many years and worked with him on many years. And Michael can be the sweetest person that you've ever met, or he can be your worst nightmare sometimes.
He is the worst nightmare for a lot of people. And those people don't know Michael. They will never get to know Michael. And that's fine. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's unlike me, who I want everyone to love me, which is a bad thing anyway. I should go to a psychiatrist, but you know, it's like Gaga says, there could be 100 people in the room, and if 99 people love you, one person doesn't like you, you concentrate on that one person. That's
I think that's a performance thing. Bruce, but Bruce, I don't know if you have that, because I've seen you just sort of dismiss people out of hand if they are not necessarily good to you. You know, if somebody was like not paying attention on stage, said, "Oh, he's thinking of another show" or something, like, you really incorporate it into the act.
Well, you know, if they're, it depends on what they're doing. I mean, I would never do that. But I mean, I will do what Chi says. If I'm looking out and there's one person who's kind of like this, you know, that I will try and win them over one way or another, or
I'll come down off the stage and sing the song right to his face.
Right, I'll call them out on it, something like that. Or they would say, "Well, why don't you just pick up your tits and go home?" She was fond of saying, because she would look for women who were like judging her, you know.
I have a question for Bruce.
Yeah.
Is the Hocus Pocus sequel really happening?
Well, if it happens, nothing is said. If it happens, it'll be for the Disney Channel or for Disney Plus.
Well, that's what they said, and they said that Adam is directing it.
Well, then you know more than I do.
Oh,
what I do know is it focuses on the Sanderson sisters when they were young, and the three divas will make an appearance, but it's not a movie about them.
Oh,
it's about teenage witches in Salem.
I mean, I also heard they're remaking Death Becomes Her, which makes me want to scream.
Yeah,
they are. There's been a musical in development for years.
Well, that would be amazing.
It was in development for Kristen Chenoweth.
Right.
And
everything has been in development for Kristen.
It's been announced over and over again, but it's I don't think
that would be an amazing thing. But I'm saying Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway and Lady Gaga and Robert Downey Jr.
Right? You know, listen, Hollywood's always been like this, because if it worked one time, it'll work a second time.
It didn't work for Overboard.
Right.
That's what a disaster.
But it was a different audience for Overboard. They went for a Latin audience because they cast that guy for I forget his name. I went to see his other picture that Raquel Welch was in.
Nothing says Latin like Anna Faris.
Here's the thing. I don't.
Well, he was the Latin.
That would be like trying to remake Showgirls.
The audience they got was not there to see Anna Faris.
Right. No.
That's like trying to remake something like Showgirls. When you've got a kitschy, something like Overboard and Hocus Pocus, they were bombs in the box office.
Nothing will ever be as weird as Gus Van Sant's shot-for-shot remake of Psycho.
Yeah, that was the oddest.
What was that? And I like him. I know him. But what was that? That was like he got to be in his toy box for
that was it. It was a vanity project.
Who was the star of
Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn, but who was the shower?
Anne Heche.
Oh.
Well, haven't we all wanted to stab her at one time or another?
Well, I can think of one person, but
so we have some questions. So Rocky wants to ask Bruce, what does your t-shirt say?
My t-shirt says, "I want to be your rebound." But it doesn't say, it's really, not for broadcast. I should have worn something that would read on.
Who is that on the?
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm trying to get him in there full screen.
Anybody?
There you are.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I see it. There
It
it is.
looks like just a caricature of somebody, looks like a sommelier.
Oh, look, I've moved you all around.
Wine.
Okay, so
What?
we have a
Thank you,
comment
Rocky.
for Shishi. Shishi, John says he always loved Mannequin Man, and when you turned to the camera and said, "Why don't you say it?"
We have rats in the cellar.
Well, he's saying, "Could this be the magic at last?"
Oh, did I say that? Could this
I guess
be
you
the
did.
You know what? I didn't direct that movie. That was a Jim Steele movie. I was.
Jim
I love
Steele.
Yeah, God rest his
What do we
soul.
want to say about Jim Steele? He was lovely to me. He was very generous. Introduced me to everybody. Just lovely guy.
He should have been in. He should have been in movies. He should have been. He should have been an actor because he was
Let's talk
funny.
about Rocco Steele.
No, well,
Chad, did you work with him?
You know, I never actually got to work with Jim, but I was at a lot of parties and things where he was, and he was just always the sweetest person in the world to me. And it didn't matter if you had worked for him or not, or he would know you after just, you know, just seeing you out and come up and talk to you, and just so very sweet and lovable. I loved him.
when I heard that he died, how he died, I was like, you know, speaking of my sobriety, it hit me home. It's one of the things that still hits home to me. To like, God, girl, that could be you, fucking found in that chair.
You said something. I remember after he died, you posted something really lovely about him.
He was one of my best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking to you, she Jacob says, "I can't believe she is 60. You look great."
Look at this, the vagina neck though.
Wait, hold on. I gotta get to your neck. Hold on. Okay.
So this after before.
Oh, for fuck's sake, it's fine.
I hate it.
Well, get it taken care of then.
Okay.
Necks are hard. Necks are difficult.
That's true.
I had one lower facelift already, but I did lose more weight, so it kind of fell lower. I mean, it's like, hi, how are you?
Robert L wants to says, well, of course, we already discussed this. Would Bruce ever consider a non-speaking role in porn? Well, I don't know what that means. Bruce is going to speak.
That means I'd have my mouth full.
Well,
a non-speaking role.
A non-speaking role.
Okay. So a performance.
Of course, make me an offer.
All right.
She could be the house mother that has to audition all the boys before they come into the house.
Oh, this is really
Tom Chase. And
we can sell it to
Matt Summers.
Oh, Tom
we
Chase.
can sell it to
That's
Disney
another one
Plus
that's gonna be
minus.
coming back.
Oh, that's right. Now, you mentioned Tom yesterday on Facebook, and I almost said to you we should get him on the show because of Boston Boy. How's he doing?
He's living in Portland right now, and
massage therapy, I think.
Fabulous.
He looks
yes,
amazing.
Trainer.
Yeah.
He looks amazing. He is so spiritually doing great.
Tom Chase.
Tom Chase.
He wants to make a comeback also. So I mean, that's why this OG porn thing that I'm thinking about is running through my head.
Well, I think the people who are buying porn and actually buying it are people who are fans of these OG people.
Absolutely.
What do you guys think of the fact that basically everybody with a webcam is a porn star?
What are you gonna do?
I love it, but I'm not in the business.
We used to have a thing that I think it was Logan Reed who said, the way you know that you actually become a porn star is you supersede the industry. So like if you're doing something like art gallery exhibits, if you're on television, if it's something beyond porn, if you've moved outside of porn, that's how you know you become a star. So
I don't really believe that. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, I think that my consideration to you guys that do these movies, I have the utmost respect and love for you guys, and I think that you guys, the minute you take your clothes off and you perform in a movie where you're getting fucked or you're sucking dick and you're taking loads in the face, you're a star. You've become a porn star. It's like, you know, there are so many guys that I've directed and been in contact with. I mean, this is my chosen family. These
Right.
guys, you know, it's like, and I love them. I love them. It's like, and I feel like I'm like I need to be a protector of all these people. And
Well,
I've
you
gone
are
through
a
it,
den mother. You had the house
Oh,
at one
always.
point.
and I've gone through it. Bruce, you said something. So you love the OnlyFans stuff. How many
Oh,
OnlyFans?
I love it only because, you know, I like porn. And it's
Yeah.
it's easy access. So,
How many
but I'm not in the
OnlyFans do you belong
business.
to?
It doesn't affect my revenue stream or my business model or anything like that. So as a fan, of course, you know, load it
How
on.
many
New product.
OnlyFans do you
But
belong to, Bruce?
I will say this: something in the non-porn world that I've noticed. I've been active in Outfest, which is the Gay Lesbian Film Festival in LA,
Yeah.
for years, for 20 more years. And as people have discovered how to make movies on their iPhones, everybody's making a movie.
Uh-huh.
Every motherfucker is a filmmaker. Everybody is doing their coming of age story, and it's one piece of crap after another.
Well,
Just
see, I
because
remember
they have
it
the
used
access
to be
to it
right.
doesn't make them Quentin Tarantino.
That's
And
true.
it's the same thing in porn. I suspect a lot of the stuff is just crappy and awful. And
well, when
if
you're
that's
on
what
a
you
bed,
want,
when you're
you
on a
can
bed
do it.
over there, like when I say over there, I mean over there, and the camera's
Yeah.
over here, and it's like the people that are fucking are this big. It's like that's not exciting.
Yeah. It's
Right.
you know, it's I mean,
For
you know,
20
you
minutes.
discover that there is a craft to the whole thing, and as there is in real movies, where
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't stand one more coming of age story that's all shot walking down the street,
On an iPhone.
particularly iPhone. The only one that, and the testament to this is the only one of those that's ever risen to any kind of level was Tangerine, which was a bit more sophisticated. I wasn't crazy about it because it was about drugged out hookers, and any story about drugged out hookers is predictable.
I like that movie that Johnny was in. Johnny Hazard, Tiger Orange.
I didn't know that one.
I
Was
didn't
it Tiger
see that.
Orange?
I
Johnny
think
Hazard.
that was the name of it. I think
It was
that was
that. I love that one. That was.
You
a good
know,
time.
I think that, you know, it's interesting what Chad said earlier. And Chad, you are really the product of a studio grooming you and really bringing you up and nurturing you into a star, you know, which I know Bob East and I had talked about this before, when the Falcon Boys would be groomed to become stars, when the Odyssey Men, when Shishi's guys, that was really sort of a studio looking out for you and putting money behind making you a star.
You know how I knew the first time I really considered myself was a star is when Falcon did this magazine thing, and it was 30 years of Falcon.
Right.
And it said Men of the Millennium. And I was the very first person that they put on there. And I wasn't even a Falcon exclusive. I felt so
But you were in more movies. You were in more Falcon movies than the Falcon Boys.
Yeah, and some of them, yeah, absolutely. To me that was when I actually. This sounds stupid, but you know, just people when they win awards, they cry. I almost cried when I saw that because I'm like,
and that's cool. I love that.
Because it really means, you know, I remember she said something to me once. I think it was maybe my first year as a judge for the awards, and she didn't say it to me, but I was there. One of the other judges had said something like, "Oh, it's just porn," and she said, "It's not just porn because this is somebody's life. It's their job. It's whatever."
Absolutely. And
you know, you would.
Going
you would never say to somebody, "Oh, you're just a singer," or "You're just a welder."
Or you just build apartment buildings.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it's.
Well, as I said, they don't want to know how you kill the cow. It's a willful sort of thing. Like, it's just porn. I could do that. And they discount everything else about it.
Well, not everybody can do it. Some people have tried it. They've done it once and they've gone away screaming with their tail between their legs.
No, that's true.
How big was the tail?
Chad, go ahead.
Never mind. Earlier, this is a family we have chosen, and to this day, I get boys from OnlyFans who call me and ask me advice. Like I said, I'm still in contact with a lot of people. I just got back in contact with Jeremy Jordan. You know, he's
me too.
God, I loved Jeremy.
Yeah. He looks so cute.
The other Jeremy Jordan.
Yes.
Oh my God, he's like a
well.
little
There's
man.
3 at this point.
But you know, I always consider every single. I don't care if all you did was one movie. I don't care if all you did was stuck your butt up on an OnlyFans. We're family, and I'll give you whatever advice I can. I'll help you in whatever way I can, because there are some people out there who are very cruel to us, and
the people that are really cruel to you and the people that are cruel to us are the ones that are. I always say this. When somebody says like a politician, let's say like the governor of Joachim Flockenville, it's like he hates the gays. He wants to get rid of gay bars. He hates the flag. And the next thing you know is he's been caught in a bathroom
sucking dick at an airport.
Yes,
right.
Always.
A lot of that is suppressing their own self-loathing.
Yes.
I have to say the first gay VNs or whatever that I went to, I've written 23 Oscar shows. I'm the EGOT of award show writers. I've written Emmy, Grammy, Oscar. I've written it all. And the first gay porn thing I went to, when the winners got up and they started giving these speeches, and I thought it was hilarious because it was like they were all Mrs. Norman Maine. Like, and I want to paint this is my that. And I thought, this is a guy who, when last seen, was sticking his dick through a glory hole and I'm thinking, it's come to this. Everybody has their own Academy Awards, and everybody gets a chance.
Listen, winning the best bukkake is a big deal.
And I still think it's kind of funny, but I get the family part. I mean, one of the things that was great about Boogie Nights was the family that they established with Burt Reynolds and Julianne Moore and all of that. And that idea I've seen myself, as you guys are saying. I've seen how that operates on a real level. So I understand when these guys who maybe have had a cocktail before the show and they get up and they kind of break down on stage. I understand.
A cocktail.
Yeah. Right.
Well, the other thing is that
most of it is real. I mean, there really is a whole family operation.
Yes.
Well, they also haven't gotten any recognition from anybody. I mean, I've always felt that, I used to say that gay porn very often attracts people least mentally capable of dealing with it because they're looking for something that they're not going to find what they were looking for necessarily. And yet I remember, she knows this. What made me proud when I was inducted on the Grabby Wall of Shame was it was the same year that Doug Jeffries had been inducted. We went to college together. So I knew him well before that as an incredibly talented dancer. And I'm like, look at us.
And singer. He's an opera singer.
Yep, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bizarre world if you know somebody in their, I don't want to say real life, but really know them versus their porn life.
Right. I look at it as like when you're in the porn world is not very big. So we're kind of under like one of those cake holders. Yeah. So you're looking at the cake holder and you're looking at this cake and it's got beautiful edges. And then it's got a couple crusty edges that are from where it's been cut off. Oh, kitty. Where it's been cut off and stuff. And I look at it like you can really see the porn industry when there's fucked up shoe salesmen.
Right.
There's fucked up pizza delivery guys. There's fucked up bankers, politicians.
You don't hear about them.
Right.
Right.
So, I mean,
nothing makes better news than one of us destroying our own lives. I mean,
Ryan Idle jumping out a window was news, but the Ryan Idle, the janitor jumping out a window, nobody would care about.
No, and no one would know about it because no one would report on it.
Shishi, you'll appreciate this. We got a comment from Duggan.
Hi, Jasmine.
Jazzy, we were talking about you for a long time. You're going to have to scroll back. Do I have the photo here? I always show this photo because I'm so thin and I have abs. Me between Mama and Jasmine.
Oh my God.
Wow. That's a Bad Boys pool party. So
that's good hair on Jasmine.
And that's that blue slicker that she wore quite often.
She had that in every color.
In
red,
pink,
blue.
And just because I want people to know that that we actually.
I think the first time I met you, Billy, was at a Bad Boys.
I think it was. That's what I think it was. And I think we ended up spending the whole day together.
Probably.
Those will, because again, those were the things that were fun, either being at award shows or being at a pool party or social event, because like you said, you knew everybody, and it was like you just picked up where you left off. She had spun at a lot of them. She had DJ'd, she had hosted with me as well. Bruce was there. I mean, we had the most fun. And
Matt Summers just told me to tell you all hi.
Hi, Matt.
Maddie,
Matt, you should come on. We'll have you on. We'll schedule you. Email me to show. And I want to show, because this is a completely non-porn event. I was going through pictures and I found this picture of us.
Oh my God!
Wow.
You know what that is?
What is that? Your opening?
That is my after party
for the opening of the shop.
After the gay ends at the Abbey.
At the Abbey? Is that where we are?
At Here Lounge.
Oh, I think it's Here
Lounge.
It is Here Lounge. Yeah, that's here.
I remember that with Jeremy Building, the straight porn guy.
Yes.
Well, there were. I found a group picture as well that I couldn't find to scan in. But what I think that this kind of shows is that, you know, you may have an idea of what she is, or what Chad is, or what a porn star is. We all are just people. We all just hang out. We all laugh.
Some of us have
to have some amazing.
Have to tea after 2 hours because we've been drinking Diet Snapple.
Oh, all right. We're almost done. We're wrapping up, Bruce.
Are we wrapping?
Oh, okay.
We're wrapping. I want to see if we have any other comments that I need to mention. Oh, so there you go.
Oh.
Matt Summers sends his love.
Love you, Maddie.
Oh, Sister Roma says Chad is such a sweetheart and his memory is beyond impressive.
Oh, she's the biggest sweetheart ever. I love
okay. Question for Bruce. Will there be a sequel to Get Bruce or otherwise? Bruce?
Yes, we're calling it Had Bruce. And it's a much bigger cast.
Let's see if
You're above the title.
There are so many comments here. I just can't get to them all.
Let's get them. Let's read them.
Let's see. I'm seeing what else. Oh, well, John Martin says you are all hysterical. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Robert L asks, ask Shishi about Shishi, Shelley Winters at Silver Spoon. Well, we all have a story, I'm sure. Shishi, do you have a story?
Well, I would see her there every day, but she went a little berserk on one of the waitresses once there. Shirley. I remember Shirley's name.
Oh,
don't remember anything, but I can remember the waitress's name, Shirley. But Shelley was, I remember Shelley went off or did something off color to this waitress, and the waitress was like, "That's it, Shelley. I've had it with you, and I'm not waiting on you ever, because she wanted Shirley all the time.
Yeah.
But she was like, she would order Shirley around, and Shirley was like, and I was there. I would go there every freaking morning.
Oh, sure.
Every morning.
I used to see Sally Kirkland was always there.
Who's the woman in Anna?
Sally Kirkland.
Sally Kirkland. She had her mail delivered there. She had her mail delivered to the Silver Spoon.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yes. She had her freaking mail delivered to the Silver Spoon. Oh my God. Anyway, so I mean that was a classic place. But Shelley went off, and Shirley was like, "That's it, Shelley. I'm done with you. I'm not waiting on you ever again." And I guess Shelley broke down. I'm so sorry, Shirley.
I have a question for Bruce. Bruce, what's my puppy doing? What's Hattie doing?
Sleeping. I have a black pug named Hattie McDaniel who is Chad's favorite, and she's sleeping in another room because she's 14 now.
I love
and
that
she's
name, Hattie.
Well, I had Tallulah and Hattie. They were there.
Right.
Was the white one and Hattie was the black one. And it was like based on this urban myth, I am sure, that actually that used to be a big joke, and then Ryan Murphy put it in Hollywood. Yeah. And he had Queen Latifah playing Hattie McDaniel. And I guess
how ironic.
Octavia Spencer was busy, so he cast.
Were they supposed to be lesbians? Or
yes,
that
was the rumor.
The urban myth is that they were a lesbian couple, and I think
the urban myth was that Tallulah was a man.
Ah, well, there's always
That was
been
also a myth.
Okay.
It started because they were the most unlikely couple, and so that's how it began, I think. But it was a gay thing that went on for years and years and years.
You need to be in that show, Bruce. You need to be in that show, Holly.
Well,
I think that'd be
sequel to that one too. What can I tell you?
You would be hilarious as a Hollywood character. Oh my God.
Oh, for
You could have
sure.
been Scotty Bowers.
There were some porn stars in the first one, in the pool scene. There was like
Yes,
Nick
there
Fit
were.
was
Florian
there,
was in it.
Adrian
Hans-
Hart.
Hans
Who
was
else?
in it. Hans Berlin was in it.
Hans
Berlin.
Berlin. And then there was the boy, the little the one that had the speaking role in the movie theater with the black actor.
Oh, yes.
Scott
and
Ryan.
I don't remember his name, but I remember the scene.
Yeah.
All right, we are almost at the 2-hour mark, so I think this is the perfect way to end. Is a comment from Honey West.
Yay!
Hi guys,
Oh, hi, honey. Oh, I miss you.
it's our grabby family.
Oh my God. I love her so much.
Well, and Big Daddy Ferguson, so many people. I mean, it was just again we
Casey, Mark, God rest Mark's soul.
Oh Jesus, I know all of them.
Stacy's great.
Yep.
Everybody.
Guys, this has flew by. I said, oh my God, I don't know if we're gonna fill an hour and a half. Here we are at 2 hours.
We could talk forever.
And and Honey West now sends us little smiles and kisses. Thank you, honey. We love you. Guys, this has been so much fun. We can do this again. We will do this again. We'll do it again.
Let's
next
have
month.
part 2.
Anytime.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So I just want to thank, of course, Shishi. It has taken a lifetime to get you here, and I'm so glad we finally worked it out.
Yay.
Chad, who I haven't seen forever, I'm so glad. It was all Chi-Chi's idea. She said, you know what you should get? I said, find somebody we all like, and I named like a couple names. She's like,
Well, I
nope,
asked you first who was going to be on, and you said Bruce, and that right away I thought of Chad.
And so, yeah, it was just a guy, and so I'm glad that worked.
So much. So thank you for inviting me as well.
Oh, please. And again, I really wanted somebody who's also legendary, and you really are. So thank you for doing the show. And Bruce, speaking of legendary, Bruce was already.
Darling.
No, I'm here. The dog Hattie came in, but she's not with me.
Bruce, thank you again for doing it. This is now your third time. You're my go-to. You and Charles Bush.
He's brilliant. Why not?
So I want to thank you all. Thank you everybody for watching. This has been so much
Billy.
fun. We will be. Oh wait, let me take you guys all out. But unless you have to pee, stay backstage and we'll talk for a minute afterwards. So goodbye to Bruce. Goodbye to Chad and my darling Shishi. Bye, sweetheart.
I love you, Billy.
Love you back. I love you back. And guys, thank you for watching Billy Masters Live. Don't forget, check out billymasters.com. We are still writing columns every week, even if papers aren't running. And Tuesday, we have Judith Chapman and Carolyn Hennessy. So it's going to be very dishy about daytime. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a very safe weekend. Take care of yourself. Wear a mask. It's not going to kill you. And just remember, if we're here, we're live. Bye, guys.